Welcome to the Tearing It Up podcast. I'm your host, Taryn. We'll be tearing it up, tearing it down, and tearing it apart, dissecting all things related to those who deviate from the standard. From leaders of their industry to leaders of mediocrity, and maybe a gear review or two thrown in. We shoot the shit and let the conversations flow, so if that's not your style, this may not be for you. Otherwise, listen in. Hope to light a fire in you somehow. Hello! We're live. We are live.
Woohoo! I'm in Truckee.
Amber is here. She came. It's been a good 6 years since she's been in Truckee, and I'm just so stoked she gets to be here for our 100th episode, which is this right here, what you're listening to.
Yes.
Is the 100th episode. And, you know, I was thinking about this for months. It's just been on the calendar. You may have seen, if you follow us on social media, we were kind of trying to put out some polls, wonder like what we should do for the episode, like have a in-person event or just different ideas and things, because I wanted something to be special, but not necessarily like the episode itself. I just wanted to celebrate that we made it to this huge milestone.
Fuck yeah.
There's this, there was a, what do you call it? A stat that I put out a long time ago. I mean, in like year one, because it was so low, it was something like 10% of podcasts get past like episode 20.
Yeah.
So we're at episode 100.
Yeah, that's incredible.
It is. And, you know, some people might not think it's a big deal, a big milestone. Once you get past 100, it's just like you keep going. But the fact that we made it to this and we just keep going weekly, I think is, just huge. It says
a success.
And it's not just it's a hobby and a passion, but we also put a lot of work into it on the back end. And I mean, we're also super glad that we have you all here listening every week. Mm-hmm. And we're excited to continue to put out some great content for you guys and to just keep doing the damn thing.
Yeah.
Get to 200, get to 500.
And see where all these conversations take us and who we get to talk to and what ends up happening in our lives and. Yeah,
so many ands. I mean, it's been really great. In the last year, it feels like it's grown a lot. Getting just amazing guests and conversations, and the feedback that we do get from you listeners out there has been amazing. So our goal is just to keep it going and keep it getting better and better. And I would also love to have more in-person events, because our audience, obviously a podcast audience, is spread throughout the freaking world, really. So it's hard to do something when you don't know where your core audience really is. Like we have all this information we could figure out, like most of our listeners are here or there, but with me being in Truckee, Amber being in Tacoma, my roots being in Tacoma, I'd really get torn of what to do, where to do it, how we can do this. And obviously I want to do these things with you, in person, have us both there. So it gets tough to figure all those logistics out. But for this one, super glad to have her here. It's been a little over 24 hours and we've been jammed. We've been having some fun. So we just went on a bike ride.
Yep. Pre-ride.
Yeah, we're doing a group bike ride, so by the time you're listening to this, we will have done a group bike ride with the Dames of Dirt, a local Truckee, Tahoe, Reno ladies mountain bike group. So group ride with them, but we had to borrow a bike for Amber, so we wanted to get her out on the trail to test out the bike, make sure she feels comfortable on the bike and the trail. To know if we needed to go just like rent one that fits her well. So we did one lap and I got some lunch, and we'll be meeting back up with the Dames. I think we might do just a little update here right now and then come back. You'll never know we were gone and tell you about what happened tonight, how the ride was. Hopefully we meet some really cool ladies. I don't know if the gals who started the group will be there tonight, but if they are, I'd love to try and get a chat with Maggie, or we'll definitely have them on at another time, hopefully. But a little mountain bike ride yesterday rather. We had some dock time on Donner.
We did. That was divine.
Jumping in, not super
so
cold.
Or busy. It didn't seem too busy.
No, it wasn't too busy for a Tuesday. Summer's not quite in full swing here yet, but it is definitely ramping up. And now, I mean, we just have the rest of the days pretty planned that I almost feel like it's already over.
Yeah. I feel that way too.
I'm like,
but Friday. It's not. We still have a whole freaking road trip to do, my dear.
Yep, we got a road trip to do. We got our ride tonight, and then having some beers at Truckee Brewing Company. So hopefully we get some ladies there again. You'll have that update.
Yeah.
But as always, we love your feedback. So wherever you're at, let us know what kind of in-person events or meetups you'd love us to be a part of, because it doesn't necessarily have to be us two like putting it on, being there in person, but I would like to collaborate, be like sponsor events or things like that. So if you know of any events around your area that the Tearing It Up podcast would be a good collaborator with, like send us your ideas. Even if that's a group ride wherever you're at with a mountain bike group, like I said, some sort of sponsorship or something like that. If my big idea was doing like a raffle and having a big kind of to-do of it, but ultimately I decided I didn't really want it to be stressful. I just wanted to have a good time. I wanted to celebrate this with people who I just love and care about, and Amber most importantly. So if it ends up just being her and I celebrating it and no one else giving any fucks, then I don't care, because this is huge for us.
Yeah, it is huge. And it's just been so fun. And we've come a very, very long way.
We have.
Yeah, from our first episode to where we're at now and all the conversations, it's just really incredible.
Well, yeah, and considering that we've just done this all on our own without any guidance, really, kind of guessing as we go, and there's a lot of things out there that say don't wait for something to be perfect before you do it. But there's also a lot of things when it comes to the podcasting world that say figure your shit out before you put it out there, because people don't want to listen to shitty audio quality. So it's been an interesting place to be. So all of you who've stuck around from the beginning, we definitely appreciate you, because and even to this day we have some audio struggles, because like right now we're in Andrew's parents' garage and it seems like when we record together in person without our headphones and stuff, then sometimes the audio comes through a little quiet. So I hope that we're good here and loud and you can hear us both. But yeah, like, and just sometimes the guests, we do it virtually, so the audio is not always super clear and great. So again, thank you all so much out there who stick it through those episodes for us, because we obviously don't have a studio, a lot of editing experience. We don't have the funds to give it to somebody to edit and try to do any of that. So we're trying to learn on our own. I've been a part of some podcast groups, gotten really good tips, but still ultimately we are fucking figuring out with just by the seat of our pants
as we go.
So
steady as she goes.
It's been great, and I hope to just keep it growing and going and get to the point where we have some sick equipment or editing capabilities where we know that every time 100% great quality audio. But I listen to a lot of podcasts myself, and of course there's some that I've been like, oh, I cannot listen to this, the audio sucks. But also I stick it through when it is a smaller podcast, because I know even before I was doing this, like what they're going through. They're just a small little production, and I just
learning curves will come,
and I care about the person and their mission and whatever. So I'm going to stick it out and still support them. So again, just this is all really an appreciation to all you out there for being there, being around. Anyone who's suggested guests to us, anyone who's been a guest. All the things, share with your friends, help us keep going. We want to get to 200. We want to get to 300, 400, 500. It's been 2.5 years and we're at 100 because we weren't on our weekly streak for a while. The first year was a little touch and go. So now, if I could do math, there's 50 weeks in a 52 weeks in a year. So 52. It takes 2 years to get to another 100. crazy.
Where will we be in 2 years?
And that's why these milestones are also so huge when you think about it that way. Like 2 years to get to 200, that's 2 years of doing this constantly, consistently, every week, showing up.
Coming up with new material.
Yep. And like just showing up for something that is purely ignited or purely fueled.
Yes.
Off of passion.
Yeah.
So,
and extracurricular, you know, like we're not making money off of this. There's like not a whole lot of like monetary incentive aside from just the conversations that we have and that we share and the people that we bring on and the community we're trying to reach and the points we're trying to get across and the shit we're trying to get off of our chest.
Yeah, it's the real the real mission behind having the podcast is what fuels us to do it. Because even if we did monetize, I mean, it's super hard to monetize a podcast where like that's your full income. Those are 1%ers.
Yeah.
So that's never the main goal. If we could get some brand deals, we would absolutely love it. But that's it's still not going to be what pays the bills and keeps the food on the table.
Yeah,
so.
and something doesn't have to be monetize it, like making money in order for it to bring great things to your life. You know what I mean?
Totally.
Like, I love being able to take an hour break out of my workday to talk to somebody who lives part-time in Mexico and Telluride. Or someone who has been a professional snowboarder, or women who are working on building up their female brand of awesome pants that you can pee out of without exposing your ass. Like, it's just really nice to take us out of our day-to-day and into somebody else's story. It's been one of my favorite things of this whole podcast journey. Bye, dude.
Yeah, and I'm super excited to see where it goes in the next 2 days. That could be a drinking game of how many times I've said I'm super excited.
Yeah, well, I mean, it is exciting. I haven't been here in fucking ever, and so much has changed, and so much has changed within us. Like, the bike that you were riding the last time I was here and the bike that I rode the last time I was here. And I mean, I'm still riding a tiny person's bike, but I'm making it work.
Super nice.
Super nice.
Super nice tiny person's bike.
Yes.
Super nice. That sounds like the person is super nice and the bike is super nice.
Yes.
Shout out Alex Bushy. Love you.
Yes. Mad love. Mad love, Nabe.
But like it was insane when we rode Jackass, which I don't think we'll get to ride it here this time, just for time constraints.
Yeah.
But yeah, thinking back to 2018, the bikes we rode on that trail, I mean, oh my gosh. I had a $150 Raleigh hardtail, like 26.5 inch tires, whatever the old brakes that I always call them. I can't remember. They're just the squeezy brakes,
the
not hydraulic
brakes.
Or not disc brakes, just the rim brakes, I guess I think is what they are. My seat didn't stay up, so I'd end up halfway up the trail pedaling like a tiny person. My quads would be killing me. Amber rode
Donovan's bike.
Yeah, Andrew's brother's mountain bike. That was also a super old bike. I think it was full suspension, though.
I think it was as well.
But it was also too small and, like I said, super old, just tiny overall.
Yep.
Hillary had the nicest bike at that time.
She did.
She had a full suspension that she got off, like, Pink Bike.
Yep.
And
she did have the nicest bike.
Yeah.
And she wasn't wearing a helmet. Tisk tisk.
She didn't wear a helmet on that?
No.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, she wasn't wearing a helmet.
Oh my god, that's so funny. But yeah,
Rad and dirty.
Now here we are being little prissy little bitches like this bike's not good enough.
It's not quite my bike. And racing mountain bikes downhill in a few weeks. And
yeah, we got the sturdy dirty.
Getting our bikes serviced. Who are we?
I don't know, but people have birthday months, and I feel like I want this whole summer to be like the 100th episode party, because I thought about holding it off. I was like, you know what, we could just take a break for a couple weeks so we have the 100th episode on the Sturdy Dirty.
Yes.
But I was like, no, I can't, because I do not want to end this like I want to keep going every week unless something really comes up that we have to have like a week off. People do that. That's fine. People do seasons where they take a whole month off. And whatever works for you. But I really like the weekly cadence, personally listening to it and being able to put it out there. So I was like, no, it's fine. That's where it kind of came to. It doesn't matter too much what this episode is about. I think us catching up, doing our thing. But the celebration outside of what's actually in this episode was what I wanted to just celebrate more.
Yeah.
But we get to drive back up to Washington together on Saturday. I'm pumped to have a friend to drive up with. Yeah, that hasn't happened in years. Well, Andrew and I drove up a couple years ago together, but I haven't had a friend. Yeah. It's different. It's different with your gal pal. Maybe we'll have to record on the way up.
Definitely. I think that's a great idea.
If you guys aren't tired of listening to us by then. But yeah, I get to be up in Washington for a couple weeks. We'll have the Sturdy Dirty. There's a lot of stuff coming your way. It will be a summer of bikes. We've already been talking about bikes for a couple months. So I've also thought about maybe we got to warn people that until like September or October, this is a mountain bike podcast.
Yeah, for real. I mean, seasons, right?
Oops. The phone just rang and I accidentally hung up on them. And not my phone.
That's okay. They're interrupting our podcast.
This is from we had a phone at the store and I swear this button was the mute. So whoops. Sorry. I hope they call back. Sorry, whoever that was calling Ron and Janine. Anyways, road trip back up, Sturdy Dirty in a couple weeks. Really great guests coming on. It's a mountain bike podcast for women right now.
Yeah.
Except for when it's not. But except the few guests in the queue, they got some bike specific stuff to talk about. And if you're not into biking, sorry, but
it's just the season, and it's just what we're talking about.
It's what we do
on people's minds. Yes, mostly that.
We got to talk about what we do because we want to, because it's our podcast.
Yeah, and we know about it for the most part.
Yeah, we know some good stuff. We're interested in it, and the more interest we have in the things, the more interest we have in the things we talk about, obviously it's going to be authentic. So that's what we're here for, people. Right now we're having a really great time just being able to be here together.
Yep. Chill at the lake.
Yeah, we'll catch up soon maybe about just life things, but for now this week we wanted to give you an update on Amber being here.
Woo!
We're going to have some fun, and we'll update you on how the party went tonight. Like I said, you won't even know we're gone.
You won't.
We'll be back in 5 seconds.
4, 3, 2. Boom, baby.
We're back and you didn't even know we were gone. All right. Okay, so we've talked about how we were doing this group ride to celebrate our 100th episode with the Truckee, Tahoe, Reno, Dames of Dirt Ladies Mountain Bike Group. We did the group ride.
We did it. And people showed up.
Yeah.
That was fucking awesome.
We were happy. We were, like, I'm not sure if anyone's going to show up, but whatever, like I mentioned, the point was that Amber and I are together in person.
In Truckee.
And we're together again in person. Like I said, you didn't know we separated, but...
or that a whole day has passed.
Yeah, we had to come back. It is Thursday morning. This is the day the 100th episode drops. We're drinking coffee outside at one of my favorite Truckee coffee establishments, Pacific Crest Coffee. Shout out Ralph Backstrom. Crystal legend and whatnot. So Washington roots, love it, love to support it. And back to the ride because we're stoked. People showed up.
6 people in addition to ourselves.
Was it 6 or 8?
There were 2
4
separate groups of girlfriends, and then there were 2 singled out individual women.
Yeah, so 8 total. Nothing huge, but it was really great because I didn't really know what to expect as far as like if any other people would be there to like lead the ride or do anything. So it was really fun. It was 4 of the girls' first group ride with the Dames of Dirt. So that was really cool too, to be a part of that experience and giving them that, plus yours.
Yeah.
So
a lot of first timers, and it all went really well. And everybody, I feel like, were on the same level as far as like riding capacity. There were like a few newer people, and
we're meant to be.
I was on a bike that wasn't fit for me, and so it just feels differently, and so I feel like my skill level dropped a little bit, but I mean, that's just what happens, and we all came out unscathed for the most part.
Yeah, one gal did have a little OTB, but after she made it down this pretty steep, rocky section, and it was the first time she ever hit it, so also real sorry if there's some ambient noise, because we're outside. There's a guy blowing the sidewalk right now.
Have you ever seen Cate Blanchett talk about leaf blowers and how much they drive her mad?
No.
And how it's like you're just blowing something from one place to the another, and it's just maddening. And I was like, I feel that.
Well, I get it. Yes. I understand what she's saying, but I have a real satisfaction from using a blower.
Yes, baby.
It really cleans things up. But yeah, you're just like scooting it over to your neighbors or something. So just like, here, take my mess and trash. Yeah, it's not getting rid of it. It's just moving it. And like putting the laundry under your bed or something.
Yes, exactly.
Your
clean clothes piled to the chair in your room.
Yeah, totally.
But yeah, the ride was rad.
Yeah, so
was rad.
This gal, I mean, I think for the most part unscathed, no blood or bruises. It was super cool to see all these women make it down this rocky section, though, who most of them had never been on that. Well, okay, half had never been on that trail, but everyone except for maybe like one or two of the girls hadn't ever done that rocky part, and they sent it and did it, and it was great. But yeah, I don't think there was any blood or bruises, probably a little sore today. And then you mentioned was it after the ride or after?
Yeah. When we were in the parking lot and we were all just like talking about the ride, standing in a circle, recapping what happened and how much fun we had. The gal who crashed was like, oh, I'm so glad I finally got my first crash out of the way, because now it doesn't seem so intimidating. And it's like, yes. And I believe it makes your bones and body stronger. It's kind of like doing, what is that? CrossFit. You know how it makes your bone density a little bit better?
Yeah, like working out, you're sore because your muscles have been torn.
Yeah.
Like you create micro tears in your muscle every time you like work out or, do something challenging, tough, and push your muscles. And so you're sore because now like you have those tiny tears and you're recovering and your muscle is coming back stronger. It's rebuilding. So yeah, I get what you're saying. Like you crash and now your body becomes a little bit more resilient because now it has to heal from this.
Totally.
And you know how to fall. Like working out or putting your body through a stressor like that, you're breaking the muscle down and then it's building back up in the recovery. But a crash or a fall, though, can mess things up.
Totally.
But I do think at least healing in your body, then potentially being prepared later down the line of like how to take a crash too. Like learning to fall is a thing. Obviously that's something that can be way out of your control when biking, or doing any kind of extreme sport or whatnot, right? That you do not have control of how you're gonna fall. But
gravity's a
or
bitch.
sometimes, it just happens so fast, right? But yeah, if you can get these reactions where you can actually like fall a little, control a little bit of how you land, but it always takes it happening a bit. And every year I kind of like wince at okay, when's my first crash going to be for this season? Same thing each season. Like I got to get the first one over with, just a little one, because you tense up sometimes. Like I don't want to do it. But when they're not bad, you're like, okay, I can. Yeah, it sucks. It hurts. I'm sore, but I know now what to expect, especially if you've never ever crashed. It's so much scarier.
And you hold it up very high as like this monumentous thing, and then when it comes, it's like, oh, that was it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
I can do that again.
And it just then you can kind of like where to push your limits or what went wrong, right?
Yeah.
It's like she definitely knows she can make it down this rock face, and now what to do after, how to ride it out. Yep. And when you can walk away from crashes, then hopefully you learned a little something. But we also talked about how a couple of the gals right after the crash, we were saying how a lot of our crashes are in those silly times where nothing, like, just did something crazy, and then all of a sudden I would just I have fallen off my bike just standing, like trying to get on, and just like whoop, fall over, like trying to throw my foot over because I didn't put my seat down or something, and I'm like stumbling, and I'm like, oh my God, like I've straight up just fallen into a bush just standing there. I take hard falls and in the silliest ways, but I've also had hard crashes on.
I also feel like sometimes with all the controls, like the gears and the seat dropper post on a mountain bike, it kind of feels like a video game, like all these control levers, you know what I mean? And so like sometimes you get a little haywire with your controls and you're like, you mean to press your like seat dropper post and then you're like grabbing your front brakes and then you going over the handlebars. Like I feel that way also sometimes when I get off of my mountain bike after riding a trail and I'm driving a car, I still feel like I'm in that like video game mode. It's very bizarre.
That's funny you say that. I do that a lot with snowmobiling. Yes. After I snowmobile and then get in the truck. Yes. Especially if I'm coming from my house. We have a private road, so there's no one on the road for a minute and there's a lot of turns.
There are no rules.
So I just start to feel like I can I want to get my truck on edge. I'm like, oh fuck yeah. Like, no. Keep leaning into a turn. Rubber on the ground. But I get that. Get in your car and you're like, oh, I can go faster on this corner. And wait, rules of the road.
Yes, rules of the road. And like same goes for like if you're operating heavy machinery. You know what I mean? Like all the levers and controls. I'm like, I'm in a video game.
Yeah, absolutely. In heavy machinery, just way too many things. But yeah, it was a really great time. And then we went to Truckee Brewing Company. A couple of the gals came and met us. Had a couple beers there. There's a lot going on in town now. I was the first like music in the park for Truckee, and the brewery is a little bit off the beaten path, and it was close to closing time for them.
Closing time.
So we didn't have a lot of gals come over for that, but that's okay. I'm way happier that we had people come out for the ride, and we weren't too sure what we were going to do this nice kind of easy, flowy lap. And there's a section that has all these, like this rock face we were kind of talking about and some berms and some little hits. It's just a super fun, jumpy, flowy section.
So fun.
And we ended up doing it. And that was really cool because...
What's the name of it again? I always want to call it Log Splitter.
Wood Splitter.
Wood Splitter.
Yeah, I haven't done it this season. And I think I really only may have done it once early season last year. Because then I had my crash last year and it just kind of took me out for the season even after the Sturdy Dirty because my body still just couldn't take another crash.
Yeah.
That crash fucked me up so hard. So I was stoked that we did it, and the women who had never seen it, never done it, were like, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
So, and we sessioned this little rock section too, like climbing, super short, just kind of punchy, rocky section that can be a little bit of a pain in the butt until once you get it, I feel like it clicks, but it's one of those things that's just like, God damn, I need one pedal stroke is like what I need to figure out. And the gals were super stoked that I brought up like sessioning it because I want to do that stuff when I'm out on the trail, and then I never do, especially when I'm alone.
Because I just trying to get through a fucking climb. You know?
I just want to get up, get done, and not spend any more time. I'm trying to get PRs for the slowest times, and so I don't session them. And it was cool to kind of give that to the ladies too. Yeah. Like, oh, that's a great idea. I'd love that because I've never gotten this before. Yes. And then one of the girls who said that, she got it first try.
Yeah.
So, and because she was able to get off her bike and go watch a couple other girls do it. And I think just the environment of like, there's people there and we're here for you. We're waiting for you. If you don't get it, like try it again.
Yeah. Learning at the same time. And I also think it's taking the time to stop, slow down, regroup yourself and be like, okay, here we go now.
Yeah. And see, these are the things, well, it's why I love the podcast and what we want to put out is encouraging people, right, to do these things, but it's hard for ourselves to remember, especially if we are alone. So it really does help to be in these group environments or with a friend and talk about it and do it because, I do ride solo mostly now.
Yeah.
And I'm not progressing in things because I'm not doing that, like not
pushing your limits and feeling confident enough that you could call an ambulance if you hurt yourself, or like it just helps to have that like phone a friend situation. Or
I'm just not getting the feedback, the encouragement. I'm just down on myself. If I don't get it, I'm like, well, I'm not going to do it again because I just didn't get it. And or even if I try it twice, you're just like, okay. Sometimes you can't pep talk yourself.
Or see where you're going wrong. Or
see someone do it.
Yeah, someone else do it.
Yeah, or you like for real have a friend record, which I almost asked you on this other section, is like, because a lot of times you like might know what you're doing wrong, but figuring out where to kind of make the changes and just seeing it back is like, okay, actually this is what I'm doing, and you're only slightly off or something, or you're like totally off. You're like, oh my god, I get it now. Like, okay.
And it's just so funny, like you can be in your body and be aware, but when you see yourself like replay, it's just totally different. You just see everything from a different view.
You do. Sometimes I hate that though. Like for instance, the replay that Jackie got of me at the softball game running to first base, I tell you, not a sight for sore eyes. Or is it a sight for sore eyes? No, a sight for sore eyes is something like beautiful. Yeah. This is the exact opposite. I hate it. I do not want to see videos of me sprinting to first base and then eating shit.
I thought you fell gracefully.
Oh God.
I thought you came out unscathed, and Andrew was like, nope, she's gonna have a bloody knee.
Yeah. And I did, for sure. Yeah, Amber got to come to my softball game Tuesday. It was really great. I had a huge cheering section.
Yeah.
And our group ride yesterday celebrating our episode, not people weren't necessarily there for that, but we told people that's why we collaborated to celebrate it. And I think they really resonated with the idea because we explained to them and you, like, we just love biking. So doing this collaboration bike ride was about us getting out, doing something we love and sharing that with other people. Yeah. And so that was a success for the group ride. That was our goal in it, and we did it.
Yes, we did. And it's been lovely for me to see your life down here again, because I haven't since 2018, and since then you've moved up to the property, you're living in a trailer. Like, that is a fucking lifestyle, my dude.
Yeah, seeing it is one thing, hearing it, talking, very regularly with the podcast. It's been nice that we've said this a ton of times before, but how much this podcast has done just for our friendship, to be able to stay in touch, because I've been down here since 2014. And so before that, I'd come home up to Washington still a couple times a year, a few times a year, always make it a point to see and hang out with Amber. But I have a lot more pulling me up there than people have pulling them down here. Mm-hmm. So it's a little bit harder for, especially you're a mom too. So it's not easy.
And same with like your brother and Jen. They've got so many children.
It's not easy for people to come
take
down
time out of their lives.
It is easier for me to get up there, but it is something now with the way that we're living, to one thing to hear about it, and I think to actually see it, you're like, oh my God, I fucking get it.
Like, we took showers this morning and just haven't been, you don't up there.
No.
And it's not easily accessible, and there's just like so many barriers in the lifestyle that you guys are living, which it's honorable. And so many people who have started their own futures on their own property from scratch do this and have done this for fucking years and years. You know what I mean? And it's just, it's one thing to hear it. It's another thing to actually live it.
And like you said, just even going up the road, like we were not even halfway. We were halfway to my place. She's like, this is a trek. I'm like, yeah. We haven't even hit the dirt road yet.
Yeah.
But, so I'm happy that you can actually see it and live it with me, to have a little more like understanding of it. Not that I ever thought like you didn't or something, and think like, oh, it's not so bad or hard. And not that I'm saying it's hard. Everyone has barriers and things, and we actually have a lot of access to things that some of our friends who live up there don't, because we have Andrew's family in town. So the fact that we can just go take a hot shower at his parents whenever we want, or do laundry, that is huge, huge, huge. Because our other friends, like, they have limited water, or they're going to a friend's house, which is for me a little bit different, even with my best friends.
It's a grander ask as opposed to familial.
Exactly.
Shout out to Ron and Janine.
They are the best, for sure. My mom is always so grateful to Janine, especially of like, I'm so glad she has like a mom down there.
And even for me, it's great to see your girlfriend circle and be like, she has people.
Yeah, totally. It's great to have you back down here in 6 years and see it. And I hope we can get you down here more.
Yeah, that'd be amazing. I want to get my boy down here too. It's hard being away from him. I really wanted to bring him on this, but he does not do good in cars, so he would not have been a good road tripper, dude.
And this was a good few days of checking everything
TNA,
out too.
baby.
Yep. And just, kind of seeing it out. It would have been
such I don't think I would have been able to manage
much
working and even just me being here all by myself. I'm so out of my element.
Yeah.
Like, I am 5,000 feet higher in elevation. I don't have like the comforts of my home. Like, it's just so different when you're just like free balling it.
Yeah, especially when you haven't done that in a long time.
Yeah, it's been a hot minute. Hot minute. Yeah.
For me, I do that more often where
Very
I'm like,
true.
I love it.
Yeah.
And it's not, you can be out of your element, but I'm like, I don't have, first of all, like a Quincy at home. I miss my dogs, but it's more like, well, it's kind of nice to have to be alone.
Just be a single person in the world.
Totally. But I'm sure for you, it's just like, it's nice, but it's weird. And it's probably conflicting of like, what is this? What is this feeling?
Every time I do something without my boy, I'm just like, it's such a tearing feeling.
Yeah.
It's
to enjoy
really
it without
bizarre.
him.
Yes. It's so fucked up.
And, I think a lot of people feel that way with kids and even their partners, right? When you go, I know people when they travel internationally, you see this beautiful place and when you're alone, you're like, God, I really wish I had like this person to share it with and these memories to look back on because you're like, how am I supposed to remember this all by myself? Because it's so fun as we've been doing this trip of suddenly remembering something from last time and I'm like, oh my God.
And we have to phone a friend, Hill Dog, and be like, when and where, what did happen there? Will you share your photos?
Yeah. Like did we do this when we were here? Did we go to Truckee Thursday? So it's so nice reconnecting with friends or about trips, and like I said, those memories suddenly popping up like, oh my God, and just like laughing about old times. And when you solo travel, you think about that and you miss that part, but there's also a whole different experience of solo traveling where it's nice that you can make every decision for yourself. You don't have to worry about anybody else and whether they're gonna it, appeasing anybody. Pro and con of everything in life, for sure.
Always tears.
Absolutely. You can go one way or the other, but there's an experience for everything. There's the time to be with people, away from people, and I think this is good for you to come down by yourself for this quick trip where we're getting a bunch of shit in.
Yeah, we did a good amount of riding yesterday.
Yeah, we did, and then we're gonna be out on the town and around today, get some work done. Friday, I go to work, and so now next time we just know exactly what we can kind of do to get Quincy going, and But anyways, guys, I mean, for the millionth time, thank you so much for being here, for listening, for sticking it out, for being with us for 100 episodes. We're keeping this one pretty short and sweet, so just giving some updates on the Tahoe trip and our just absolute
appreciation.
For you.
Gratitude. Hype.
And for being here. And so you will probably hear from us again pretty soon. We might record while we're road tripping. We got
we should totally do
jam-packed next 2 days, and then Saturday we drive. 12 hours.
Louise style. Except for
we're gonna stay on the road.
Yeah, we're gonna stay alive.
12-hour drive up to Washington. Got one of my best buddies' weddings on Sunday. Shout out Joe. Happy wedding. Can't wait to see everybody. And I think that's it for now. We had a great celebration. Hope you guys enjoy this. Always give us your feedback. Like we said, if you'd like to do something, have some kind of in-person event or know of any events that we can try to get involved in, I
Holler.
I love events.
Yeah,
we're
always here for it.
I'm working on my freelancing services, and one of them is specifically event coordination. So I want to do that for us, for the podcast and all that, and see what we can kind of start dipping our toes in. We want to spread the word, build the audience, build the everything. And
camaraderie.
Yeah. Can't wait to talk to y'all again from the road. Got some good guests coming up, and gosh, we'll talk to you maybe one more time before the Sturdy Dirty. Can't wait to give you those updates too. I just had to look at the calendar. All right, wild. Everybody, have a wonderful day. Thanks for celebrating 100 with us.
Woo-hoo-woo!
We are in the Century Club, baby.
Yes, we is.
Adios, my friends.
Bye.
We hope you enjoyed this episode and would do us a huge favor, since we don't have any sponsors or anything like that, and would rate and review us on whatever platform it is you use, Spotify, Apple, Stitcher, whatever it is. And if you're listening and downloading just through the website, tearingituppodcast.com, leave comments. We'll definitely engage back with you. And on social media right now, we're just on Instagram. Tearing It Up Podcast is the handle. Like the post, share the post, comment on the post, whatever it is you got. Show us your love so we just stay relevant and show up in the rankings at all. So again, rate and review, please, and we'll see you next time. Thanks.